Hey, today we're going to look at 10 of the most disgusting, most revolting, most foul smelling, and just plain weird foods that people, for some reason, choose to put in their mouths. We'll start with stuff that just smells bad, and we'll end with something so horrifying that you probably won't sleep tonight because the images of what you just ate will haunt your dreams. Where do people eat this stuff? In different countries, on different continents. People who grew up with these foods eat them like a normal breakfast or lunch, while tourists close their eyes and pray it's all just a bad dream. This is a story of survival, a story of how people adapted to extreme conditions and created foods that are now a part of their culture. It's about respect for nature, using what nature gives you and wasting nothing. When a foreigner sees this food for the first time, their reaction is priceless. People gag, cringe, fall to their knees, throw up in bushes, scream. Videos of people trying this stuff for the first time get millions of views. So, let's begin. If you're ready, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, because I guarantee, after this video, you will never forget these foods. And right now, we're starting with a classic, a legend, a dish that sounds like a stomach disease but is actually a Swedish point of pride. Meet surströmming. Sweden, the 16th century. King Gustav Vasa is at war with the Germans. Trade is shut down. Salt is running out. And someone comes up with the crazy idea: what if we use less salt and just let the fish sit longer? Maybe it'll work. And that's how surströmming was born. 500 years later, almost every Swede has at least one can of it on the table every year. The process is simple. They take Baltic herring and put it in a strong salt brine for 2 days. Then it goes into a weaker brine, fish enzymes are added, and it's left to ferment for 2 months. During fermentation, hydrogen sulfide is produced, a chemical that smells like rotten eggs and a piece of meat left in the sun for a week. After fermentation, the fish turns soft and mushy. It's then packed into cans, by hand, while enjoying the aroma. The can is sealed, but the fermentation keeps going. About a month later, the can swells up from gas pressure and starts to look like a small bomb. When you open it, the smell hits you in the face like a cloud of death. People describe it as a mix of sweaty armpits, rotten eggs, ammonia, and something that died in a sewer. One guy wrote, "It feels like 1,000 dead fish are farting in your mouth at the same time. But the taste? Just salty herring. Swedes eat it with bread, potatoes, and sour cream, like it's totally normal. For them, it's a delicacy. For the rest of us, it's a challenge. There's even a surströmming day, celebrated on the third Thursday of August. People gather, open the cans outside, and eat it together. Was that bad? Wait, it gets much worse." Now we're heading north. And I mean north, guys. To the very edge of the world. To Greenland, home of the Inuit, a people who once decided that if you bury one dead animal, stuffed with other dead animals, underground for a year, it becomes a delicacy. Meet kiviak, a dish that is literally madness in physical form. So, what is it? It's a seal skin, a whole seal skin. The seal is decapitated, but the skin stays intact. And then they stuff it. Stuff it with what? Seabirds. Whole birds. Not gutted, not plucked. Whole. Beaks, feathers, organs, everything. You can fit 300, sometimes 500 birds inside a single skin. Yeah, 500 entire birds inside one animal. After that, the skin is sewn shut. All the seams are sealed with seal fat so no air gets in and no insects get inside. And then, and this is the important part, the whole thing is buried in the ground or weighted down with rocks for pressure. For how long? 6 months to a year. A full year. So what's happening underground? Fermentation. Anaerobic fermentation. The birds begin to decompose inside that sealed sac. Gases form. Huge amounts of gas. That's why the bag has to be buried seam up, so the gas can slowly escape through the weakest point. Otherwise, it explodes. The taste? People say it's like a very sharp, very aged, extremely smelly cheese. Think gorgonzola, but turned up to 11. Pungent. Aggressive. People on Reddit wrote things like, "It tastes like rotten cheese, but somehow, it's not bad." The smell? So foul and so intense that kiviak is eaten only outdoors. In an enclosed space, the odor can literally make you dizzy. Your head can start spinning. People describe it as fermented rot or a smell that kills your thoughts. How do you eat it? You dig the seal out of the ground, pull out the birds, and eat them whole, bones, organs, beaks, everything. Historically, this was survival. The Inuit lived in extreme conditions. Winters last for months. Food is scarce. Nothing can be stored easily. But in summer, there are birds. So you hunt the birds, stuff them into a seal, bury it, and now you have preserved food for winter, high in protein, high in fat, enough to survive. Here's the wild part. The fermentation process neutralizes toxins and bacteria. People don't get poisoned. Food poisoning from kiviak is extremely rare. The enzymes do their job. They kill everything harmful. This isn't just food. This is the physical embodiment of the word survival. It's culture. It's history. It's how humans adapted to a land that actively tries to kill them with cold. And now, if you think that was extreme, sorry, we're just getting started. Now we're flying to the Andes, to Peru, Ecuador, Bolivia, high into the mountains where snow sits on the peaks and people live at altitudes where the air is thin and every breath matters. And in these mountains, in these villages, people eat something that in Europe and America lives in a cage as a family pet. Meat kiwi, fried guinea pig, whole, roasted, with its tiny head, its eyes open, staring at the ceiling, with the same little paws you've seen alive. The history? 5,000 years ago, people in the Andes domesticated guinea pigs. The Incas hunted them, bred them, and ate them. Guinea pigs appear in ancient carvings and reliefs found during excavations. People worshipped them. They were sacrificed to the gods. There was even a saying, raise a kai, eat well. Some locals even believe Jesus ate them. Why guinea pigs? Because they're perfect for the Andes. They grow fast. They need very little space. They eat grass, no hunting required. From just a dozen guinea pigs, you can get 35 to 40 kilograms of meat per year. This is food. This is survival. Today, 66 million guinea pigs are eaten in Peru every year. 66 million. That's about 17,000 tons of meat going straight onto people's plates. So how is kai prepared? It's rubbed with salt and pepper, stuffed with herbs, and roasted over an open fire, on a grill, over hot coals. The skin turns crispy and golden. The head stays on, mouth open, teeth showing, one eye still staring upward. Locals don't see anything strange about it. It's meat, nutritious, affordable. In villages, a kai can cost $2 or $3. People who've tried it say it tastes like rabbit. Tender meat, slightly sweet, white meat. Nutritionally, there's nothing questionable about it. It's an animal, like any other. But psychologically, that's a different story. Think about your childhood hamster. Remember how it looked? Tiny ears, tiny face, tiny paws. Now imagine that. Roasted, whole, on a plate, right in front of you. Tourists seeing cuy for the first time usually go silent. One review said, I went to a restaurant in Cusco and ordered cuy because I wanted to try local food. When it arrived, there was a head with open eyes on my plate. I couldn't eat it. I paid and left. Another person wrote, I tried kai. The taste was fine, kind of like rabbit. But psychologically, it was brutal because you're looking the animal in the eyes while eating it. Fun fact, in Peru, there are traditional festivals where people eat kai the same way Americans eat turkey at Thanksgiving. Weddings, festivals, celebrations, cuy is everywhere. Younger generations eat it less than their parents. They grow up in cities, watch American movies, and their brain says, that's a pet. But for the older generation, it's just food. Something people ate centuries ago. Something the Incas ate. And something that should continue. Now we're in Norway, on the coast, cold, windy, a place where people raise sheep, and at some point, people here decided that a sheep's head isn't waste, it's a delicacy. Meet smalahove, a boiled sheep's head. The word smalahove literally means sheep head, from two Norwegian words. Originally, this was poor people's food. The wealthy ate the meat, the poor ate what was left, heads, hooves, bones. But over time, it became culture, a traditional Christmas dish in western Norway. Here's how it's made. They take a lamb's head. The skin and wool are burned off over an open flame, sometimes smoked. Then, the head is boiled for 3 hours until tender. The brain is either cooked inside the skull or removed and fried separately. You're served half a head per person. On the plate in front of you, a boiled head, ears, eye, cheeks. On the side, rutabaga, potatoes and aquavit, strong Norwegian liquor. Because without alcohol, this is mentally harder to eat. The meat is tender, fatty, soft. The ears are crunchy cartilage. The tongue is considered a delicacy. People who grew up with it say it's delicious and filling. But psychologically, there's a problem. On your plate is a sheep's head, with an eye. That is watching you. You scoop the brain out of the skull with a spoon. You eat the tongue, fully aware that it is a tongue. This isn't just meat. It's an identifiable part of an animal. Fun fact, since 1998, the European Union has banned smalahove made from adult sheep due to the risk of prion diseases. Now it can only be made from lambs. Tourists actually fly to Norway just to try this. In the town of Voss, it's become an attraction. Extreme food. A test of manhood. Tourists eat it, film themselves, and those videos blow up online. Was that weird? Wait, Because next, it's still alive. Now we're flying to Korea, to Seoul, to bars and underground restaurants where raw fish is common. And there's a dish that moves on the plate. Meet sannakji, a dish where you chew live octopus while it's still moving. So, how does this happen? The chef takes a live octopus, a small one. Locals call it nakji, and the chef cuts it up, fast, efficient, and serves it immediately. Why immediately? Because the octopus's tentacles are still alive. Its nervous system keeps firing. The pieces move, they twist on the plate. The suction cups at the ends of each tentacle are still active. When you grab a piece with chopsticks, the suction cups grab back. They don't let go. You put the piece in your mouth, and it moves inside. The tentacle keeps contracting in your mouth. The suction cups try to attach to your palate, your tongue, your cheeks. You feel something alive inside your mouth, fighting. One woman on Reddit wrote, "I was eating sannakji, and a piece stuck to my tongue. I couldn't swallow it. I couldn't spit it out. It was the strangest struggle of my life. Eventually, I chewed it up and swallowed it. After that, I was pale as a ghost." How is it served? A plate of chopped octopus comes out, drizzled with sesame oil, sprinkled with sesame seeds, with a spicy dipping sauce on the side. People eat it with soju, a mild Korean rice liquor. The taste? Slightly sweet, tender. If it were just dead seafood, it would actually be delicious. But the fact that you're eating something that is actively resisting you, that changes everything. And here's where it gets serious. Over the past 20 years, there have been documented deaths. People have choked on the suction cups. The suction cups can stick to the throat and block the airway. In 2008, in the city of Gwangju, a young man died after choking on sannakji. So the rule is simple: chew, long and thoroughly. While the piece is still moving, while it's still fighting, you must chew it into mush before swallowing. Because if you swallow a whole piece, the suction cups can activate and lock onto your throat. Sannakji is eaten as a drinking snack, at parties, in bars, with friends. This is an adults-only dish. Tourists eat it as a challenge, a test of courage. This isn't food, this is war. Now we're in Japan, in the fish restaurants of Tokyo. And here, people eat something that looks otherworldly. Meet maguro no gai, tuna eyes. What is it? It's literally an eye. A massive tuna, sometimes the size of a human, is brought to market and broken down, and the eyes, about the size of a tennis ball, are removed. The meat around a single eye weighs 100 to 300 grams. How is it prepared? The eyes are rinsed in salt water to remove blood and fishy odor. Then, they're boiled in broth, a mix of dashi, soy sauce, sake, mirin, and ginger. They're boiled for about 20 minutes. During cooking, the outer membrane of the eye becomes rubbery and tough. That part isn't eaten, but the inside softens. It turns jelly-like, sometimes even melts out. The pieces are eaten with chopsticks, like any other dish. The taste? People say it's similar to squid, meaty, ocean-like, slightly sweet. The texture inside is soft and gelatinous. Nutritionally, extremely high. Pure protein, healthy fats, omega-3 fatty acids. In Japan, tuna eyes are believed to improve brain function and eyesight. The price? In Japanese supermarkets, around 500 yen, about $4 to $5. Cheap. This is fisherman's food, everyday food, not an aristocratic delicacy. The psychological factor? Seeing a whole eye the size of a chicken egg on a cutting board is unsettling. But once it's cooked and served, it becomes just food. Unusual, but normal. Tourists often try it and say, "It tastes good, but psychologically it was hard, because I knew exactly what I was eating." Now we're flying to China, to Hunan province, where centuries ago people asked themselves, what if we bury an egg and lie for a few months? Would it taste good? Meet piden, the century egg, a food that looks like it came straight out of a science fiction movie. According to legend, during the Ming Dynasty, a man discovered duck eggs buried in a pile of slaked lime used for construction. 2 months later, he tried them. And he liked them. And that's how this dish was born. Here's the process. You take a regular duck egg, coat it in a mixture of tea, lime, salt, ash, and clay, roll it in rice husks and straw, then bury it underground for several months. Or, in the modern version, soak it in an alkaline solution for 2 to 4 weeks. The chemical reactions break down the egg white and yolk on a molecular level. When you crack the egg open, the white has turned dark brown to black, semi-transparent, like ancient amber. On the surface, you can see patterns that look like frost on a window or pine branches. The yolk becomes gray-green or almost black, with a creamy texture, like soft French cheese. The first thing that hits your nose: ammonia, sharp, pungent, burning. Many people feel nauseous just from the smell alone. The taste? Similar to a hard-boiled egg, but with notes of duck pâté and aged cheese, something like gorgonzola. People often say, the flavor is interesting, but after that smell, nothing feels normal anymore. Fun fact, despite the name century egg, it's not buried for 100 years, usually just 3 to 4 months, sometimes less. And yes, the timing affects whether the flavor and smell turn out right. The name just stuck historically. How do you eat it? It's sliced into pieces, drizzled with black vinegar, sprinkled with fresh ginger, and eaten with rice porridge. In small portions, because one piece can completely kill the rest of the meal with its smell. Nutritionally, it's solid. Vitamins, minerals, iron. The alkaline environment kills all bacteria, so it's completely safe when made properly. One person wrote, "I saw a black egg on my plate with patterns like ice. At first, I thought it was decoration. When I realized you're supposed to eat it, my brain just shut down." The psychological factor? This isn't just a strange egg. It looks like something else, like a creature from another dimension. The taste is good, but the look? The look requires a few seconds for your brain to accept that this is something you're actually supposed to eat. Now we're heading to Sardinia, Italy, a place where people make something that is officially banned in most countries around the world. Meat casu marzu, a cheese that is alive, literally alive. The name casu marzu translates to rotten cheese. And that's not marketing. That's a description. Here's how it's made. You take pecorino, a regular sheep's milk cheese. You leave it in the shade, exposed to open air. Cheese flies find it. They lay eggs inside the cheese. The eggs hatch. Out come larvae, white, squirming, about 8 millimeters long. And these larvae eat the cheese. They burrow through it. Their digestive system breaks down the fats. And the result is a cheese that becomes oily, sticky, with an extremely intense flavor. For 3 to 6 months, the larvae live inside the cheese. They eat. They multiply. They leave behind, well, you can imagine. The appearance? The cheese turns almost liquid inside. You can see holes on the surface from the larvae. You open it, and inside are masses of live maggots. They move. They writhe. They jump. Yes, they can jump, up to 15 centimeters. That's why people cover the cheese with their hand when opening it, so the larvae don't jump straight into their face. The smell? Sharp, aggressive. The smell of extremely overaged cheese, pure fermentation. The taste? Spicy, burning, very intense. People say, it's like gorgonzola, but taken to an extreme. So how do you eat it? You're sitting in front of live cheese with moving larvae inside. You take bread, or flatbread, use a fork or spoon, and spread the cheese on top. The larvae are still alive, still moving. You put it in your mouth, and they move inside your mouth. You have to chew fast, because if you swallow a larva whole, it can survive long enough to cause digestive problems. Fun fact, the production of casu marzu has been officially banned in the EU since 2010 due to health regulations, but in Sardinia, people still make it illegally. Because to them, this isn't just food, it's culture, it's heritage. Nutritionally, it's actually very high. Fermentation increases its nutritional value and adds probiotics. It can even be considered healthy, if you ignore the psychological horror and the fact that it's illegal. Now we're in Indonesia. Here, people eat things no one else would touch. Meat bat soup, a whole bat, cooked right in the pot. How do they make it? They catch a bat, and they boil it whole, no cleaning, no gutting, whole, with wings, face, and all the organs inside. They put it in a big pot of water. Add ginger, onion, garlic, salt. Let it simmer for 40-60 minutes. Slowly, over medium heat. The meat softens, the bones get tender, the soup turns cloudy, almost fishy in appearance. On your plate floats the carcass of a bat, wings sticking out of the soup, eyes wide open, staring at the ceiling, teeth visible. People say the meat is neutral, a bit wild. When you pull the meat off the bones and eat it with rice, it tastes like game. Not chicken, not rabbit, game meat. You see on your plate a living creature, a bat, whole. That flew, ate fruit, and now it's here, in your soup. There's a big danger. Bats carry viruses like Hendra, Marburg, and even Ebola. If it's cooked wrong, or if bat blood gets on a cut, you could catch a deadly disease. Back in 2014, there was an Ebola outbreak in West Africa, and scientists confirmed bats can carry the virus. In the Philippines, people got infected with the Hendra virus just from handling bat meat. And yes, people eat it like we eat soup, usually on holidays, at weddings. It's a tradition. At the markets, hundreds of bats hang around for sale, alive. People buy them like we buy chicken. It's food. A YouTuber says, I wanted to try bat soup, but when I saw a whole bat head in my bowl, eyes wide open, I pushed the plate away and walked off. I couldn't eat it. The smell was weird, it looked horrifying, and I didn't know if it was safe. Was it extreme? Absolutely. But you haven't seen anything yet, because next up is the final dish. Now, friends, we've reached the final, the last ultimate dish, the most psychologically intense, meat balut, a duck egg with a nearly fully developed duck inside. This tradition comes from the Philippines, Vietnam, and Cambodia. Here's how it works. You take a fertilized duck egg, put it in an incubator, leave it for 17 to 21 days. During that time, magic happens inside the egg. The beak forms, the wings develop, the cartilage grows, bones take shape, feathers appear, the nervous system develops. The duckling is almost ready to live outside the egg. Then, you boil the egg in salted water for 20-30 minutes and take it out. You crack the narrow end of the shell, slice the membrane, and see the liquid inside. It's like a broth, a kind of amniotic fluid. You drink this liquid. It's warm, meaty, like a light chicken soup. Then you peel back the shell and see what's inside. There's the duckling, almost a real duck. Eyes visible, beak visible, wings visible, feathers, bones. The yolk is just yolk, but everything else, that's the duckling. How do you eat it? You season with salt, maybe a little vinegar, and bite. You chew the beak. You chew the bones. You chew the meat of a partially developed bird. The taste? Like boiled beef liver. The meat is tender. The bones are soft. Everything is soft and delicate because it's not fully born yet. Nutritional value? Insane. 14 grams of protein per 100 grams. Vitamins, minerals, fats, it's all there. In the Philippines, it's considered an aphrodisiac. In Vietnam, it's a nutritious food for recovering patients and nursing mothers. In the Philippines, people eat it as street food. Normally, workers take balut to work. Students eat it between classes. It's everyday food. For tourists, it's a challenge. Seeing a nearly fully formed duck on your plate, your brain screams, wait, that's an animal. But then you take a bite. The taste is good, and you realize it's just meat like any other. On YouTube, people film their first time eating balut. Their reactions? Priceless. They cover their mouths, close their eyes, grimace, sometimes gag. It's emotionally intense. So guys, we've gone all the way. From surströmming, which just smells awful, to balut, which guarantees you won't sleep tonight. What did we learn? Food isn't just about eating. It's culture. It's history. It's a way of surviving. A way of respecting nature and what it gives us. When people in other countries laugh at our food, remember, we laugh too. Our food might seem just as strange to a Japanese, an Indonesian, or a Filipino as balut seems to us. But here's the point. People adapted. People survived. People invented ways to preserve food long before refrigerators existed. People figured out how to eat in tough conditions, and those ways became traditions. Culture. Something to be proud of. If you made it to the end of this video, you're a champion. You've seen 10 dishes that could make anyone gag, and you stuck it out. You made it all the way. So, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and in the comments, tell me, which of these dishes would you try, which would you never eat, and which one was the disgustingest to you? I can't wait to see your answers. See you in the next video. Enjoy your meal, if you can. Bye.